computer. Share screen. Would David Brown turn his video off, please?
I'm trying to.
Second button along on the bottom left. Just mute your video.
There we are, Barry, you can go now.
Right, I'm ready. Well, tonight this is started with a nice tribute to Derrick. So bear with me, because as usual, we need to get the technology through. This is a nice photo Derrick took in Bedford Street of Tomes of Leamington, which I believe Derrick had contact with and worked there for a time. He took this one in June 1990. I think this is now a fitness club, because the building next door with the cars outside is Leamington's Real Tennis Club. And a bit further down the street, you can see the post office vans parked there where it used to do all their repairs. And that's now a fitness club as well. Some interesting old cars on there as well, if you call 1970 old.
Barry, you need to be in slideshow, please.
Oh, it should have gone. There we are. Sorry about that. There we are. Another one of Derrick's wonderful snow pictures. A lot of these snow pictures that Derrick took are all dated 1981, 82. And this is a wonderful picture of the Adelaide Road Bridge. When we showed this on our Facebook page, we had nearly 200 people admire this photograph. And I think it was very brave of Derrick to be out and about in this such cold weather, taking these wonderful photographs. Because we don't really get it like that now, do we? There we are, inside the Real Tennis Club, which a few of us attended not long ago when they launched a book on all its history. This is another one of Derrick's photos taken in 1988. And we have to get some railway connection in. This is one of Derrick's taken in the booking hall in 1983. It's got that wonderful clock that used to stand there before they messed around and modernised all the changing room in, with the wonderful commemorative clock there and the chalkboard outside telling you what trains were due. Now it's all electronically organised. Nice mixture there of dark and light, but he definitely got the clock in well framed between the open gates. There we are. We all used to remember this as the aviary, didn't we, when we went in the park and went and had a look at all the birds in there. I never understood why they had rabbits in the aviary. Derrick took this picture in 1981. Of course, now it's the wonderful Aviary Cafe in the park. An interesting building. This is the Royal Priors, Xmas, 1990-ish, when they'd just put their decorations up. when it used to be busy in there, and when there were actually shops in there that were still got people going in to buy stuff. You go in there now and it's mainly empty shops, very few left. Who knows what's going to happen to that? This is another picture that Derrick had in his collection that he gave us, showing the two oldest occupied houses in Leamington, Church Street, both Grade 2 listed. Used to be a nice West Indian lady lived in one of those, I think, Mrs. Brown, who died not long ago. It was also a long time ago, it was Chimes's hairdressers, and his daughter won Miss Great Britain and married Max Wall. For a bit of a remembrance there. Ah, this is a nice picture. St. Mary's allotment, according to Derrick's information. And this was the original circus booking office. He hadn't put a date on this one, so I'm open to suggestions when that was from anybody when we take our little break in a moment. Who remembers this place in, I think it's Clarendon Street, Clark's Whitesmith. I like the number just above the letterbox, number 66.5. There's no picture on this. Locksmith, bell hanger, hot and cold water fitters, repairs in da da da. Isn't that a wonderful picture of the old Clifton Cinema? That again was taken in 1981. Now, of course, it's all part of a fitness clique, etc. Now we take a little break. So if you want to unmute yourselves and say anything about what you've just seen, I'm always happy to hear it. Anybody got anything to say?
Yes,
Harry.
Barry. The
Yeah.
picture of Tomes at the beginning, Derrick served his apprenticeship as a printer with Tomes printers. And it was only later in life, when he was a member of Leamington History Group, that he met up again with David Budd,
Yeah.
who was the son of the owner and manager when Derrick was there as an apprentice. And they actually they weren't good friends when it was boss and employee and Derrick was a teenager, but they did become good friends later in life. Let's put it that way. And your Mrs. Brown in Church Street was once on a town walk with a group of school children, and we stopped outside to look at a house, and she rushed out to tell us the story of a house, and then she rushed in the house and came out yet again with a handful of sheep's wool full of dust and bits and pieces, and she gave it to us as a souvenir, because that was part of the house's roofing insulation. When they had the roof redone, they discovered this 17th century roofing insulation that was bundles of sheep wool, not combed, just little tumbles of sheep's wool, the sort of thing you find on fences.
And on sheep.
Barry, the photograph of the Real Tennis Club, I was there and Bill Gibbons had organised that visit on that occasion.
Thank you.
And the circus box office is still in situ.
Yeah.
Next time I
Barry,
go on.
Barry, the Whitesmith is in Clarendon Street. It's next door to what was Harry Russell's do-it-yourself shop.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite like. I like the number of the property on it where it says 66.5.
It's opposite Huntington.
Well, we were at 70.
Thank you.
Barry,
Yeah.
you showed the two oldest occupied houses in Leamington. What date were those houses?
It's supposed to be mid 1660s.
How old were they?
Yeah, no, they're about 300,
Were they?
360 years old.
360?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Thank you.
Anybody else? Or shall we carry on?
Barry, also on the story of Mrs. Brown, when I was in hospital once, I was actually in bed next to Mr. Brown, and
Oh,
we had a very interesting chat about his cottage.
ah, I like it. Anybody else, or shall I carry on?
Just one thing, Barry. The aviary was actually originally a tea pavilion in the gardens. So its life has turned full circle. It's returned to its original function. A lot of people think it was originally aviary. It wasn't. It was a tea pavilion made by Alan of Glasgow, Elmbank Fountain, one of the examples of very important cast iron manufacturers who provided items for Leamington Spa.
Yeah, like the bandstand in the pump room.
Indeed, that's McFarlane. This is Alan of Glasgow.
That's quite good, isn't that? Thank you. It's good how buildings turn around to go back to their original use, I think. It's great. Right, we'll carry on now. We'll go on to the next picture. Come on. There we are. This is a picture Derrick took outside the Cricketers Arms with Victoria Street going off to the side. And this went, oh, sorry. It's when they painted, oh, we got a latecomer, apologise. And it's when they painted the mural to celebrate the Queen's Silver Jubilee, probably 1977, on the side of the house there.
87.
87. You wouldn't be leaving that bike on the side of the pavement with no lock on there, would you? And we've now got the building history plaque, haven't we, on the Cricketers Arms that MJK Smith unveiled. But that's quite a nice picture, that is. And of course, Derrick was connected to Victoria Street, wasn't he? That's where he grew up. This is a good picture. I've never seen this is a wonderful picture because it's outside where they built the new block of flats on the corner of Dale Street and Regent Street. Who's going to tell me the name of it? That's the question. That's about 1988 they were doing that. There were two very derelict houses there, which in the 60s were notorious for having mods and rockers parties and things, and everything else that went wrong.
And livestock.
And lives, yeah. But it's the nice block of flats on the corner now. I quite like the block of flats there. And one got the garden on the roof, didn't they?
Yeah, owned by Orbit, of course.
I think they're private, aren't they?
No, it's definitely Orbit. You mean the one at the corner of Dale Street?
Yeah.
No, definitely Orbit. I was very surprised. I thought it was private, but.
Pity that's the worst housing association in Britain.
But it's a nice building, Barry.
It is, isn't it? There's a garden on the roof. Like a thing on the roof. Anyway, there we are. That's a wonderful picture Derrick took. And a couple of old vehicles in the picture. Those two old houses got really run down. How about that then? Dale Street Chapel, Methodist Chapel, before they extended it. Mess around. I reckon that's Derrick's car in the picture.
Barry, yeah, it is. Mum just said that's Dad's car.
DUE823F.
Yeah, that's it.
That's quite a good picture, isn't it? Of course, it's all been extended sideways now. And one thing and another, but one of the old iconic. We all forget how many churches and chapels there were in Leamington originally.
Library.
Swimming pool, perhaps even at this time. The early 80s. I think it was probably still the swimming pool, but it might be the library. I can't remember when. I think they altered it in about early 1990s. To the library, but nice bit of work, isn't it? For those of you who like engineering and structural engineering and things like that. a nice picture. Gets very hot up there when you're up on the top floor of the library in the summer.
I believe the swimming pool is still there under the floor.
Oh, it is, yeah.
All the
Yeah.
artwork.
Yes,
There
it
we are.
is.
Nice picture.
It's used as the stack for the library. That's where they store you know, the older books and documents and so on. And that actual picture that we're seeing, that's the roof trusses that were cleverly pushed into listed building status, and that prevented the demolition of that whole complex, because it was proposed to demolish the whole complex, the pump rooms and the swimming pool, and have a health clinic there. But instead, because they couldn't demolish it because of that complex roof structure, they changed it to the museum and art gallery and library. A huge improvement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Let's press on.
Oh, yeah. Randy Terrace.
Randy Terrace, deconstructing the gas holders, 1982. We forget, I think people these days, when they go up by the canal and go up Randy Terrace, they forget that we had the massive gasworks there, which very cleverly had the name Leamington planted on the roof at one time, all the gas holders. And now you look at that site now and it's just a complete housing site, like nearly everywhere else in Leamington, the Leamington boundaries. But it's good that Derrick recorded it. Nice crane there, demolishing. We could do with that. We could do with that now with loads of gas stored to keep the prices down. But that's going off the subject.
Just a bit.
Another one of Derrick's wonderful snow pictures. Linden Walk, 1981. Before a beautiful picture, and before we got the new Linden Arches that Archie and company helped us get along there. Isn't that a wonderful photograph?
Certainly is.
Very clever.
It's very clever, very nice. Agree pattern, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And there's a picture in the cafe, isn't there now, Barry?
Yeah, you said they could have a coffee. And the lady who runs the cafe, the Bandstand Cafe, is absolutely awestruck by it. We don't have snow like that anymore, do we?
Let's hope not.
No, we'll get that in June when the Commonwealth Games, July when the Commonwealth Games are on.
Wow.
That one. The Jefferson Memorial Building.
Fantastic.
Just say the thickness of the snow on the branches. My goodness.
Yeah. Derrick obviously had to walk around Leamington in the snow, photographing all this stuff at the same time. But I couldn't resist putting this one in because I think it's wonderful.
Beautiful sunshine.
Yeah, and you've just about got the check piece in there. And the sun catches it just right, doesn't it?
I always remember just being with Dad and having to wait sometimes for ages. He'd just stand there waiting for the sun, didn't he? Make sure the sun. He used to.
You develop great patience then. Anyway, there we are. Another one of Derrick's wonderful pictures. Dragon Cottage up Dyescliff Avenue, which has now been greatly extended, if I remember right, last time I walked up there.
Where's that?
Dragon Cottage, Dyescliff Avenue. It was part of the old original golf club.
Wow.
Where Beverly Hills is and where the whatever is up there. And that was all part of the golf course originally before they extended and built lots of houses on it.
I think that was the Greenkeeper's Cottage.
Correct.
Yeah, it was. And before that, it had a connection to the rifle range.
Yeah.
That was further down the avenue.
Yes, I have it recorded as the sergeant's house for the firing range.
Yeah.
And you think this is at the other side at the western end of Beverly Hills. And Beverly Hills was developed about 1962-63 by George Wimpy. So I remember doing school cross-country running across it when I was at Leamington Boys College, or in my case, cross-country walking. But yeah, it's all been greatly extended now, but it's a wonderful place.
Oh my God.
Back memories for everybody.
Yeah.
1981.
Oh, Francis.
On the site of Abbott's Well.
Brings back many memories.
It's another one of our iconic shops that we lost.
It's where
Majestic Wines is now. They built a new building on it called Comet.
Yeah. Certain well-dressed young gentlemen used to get their clothes in there.
And ladies. It was the up marketplace. But there we are.
Oh, that's nice.
You like that?
Mm.
Obviously Roman, is it?
No, I think it's.
Yeah, it is, Roger. It is.
There's quite a few little shops around Leamington that have still got the mosaics in their doorways saying what they were.
I was just thinking all this tessellated stuff they keep finding of the Roman stuff, you know.
Yeah.
They say mimicry is the greatest form and whatever. Anyway, that's a nice sign in Francis's. And now it's time to have another little break. So what do you think of the ones you've seen so far?
Brilliant.
Are you all enjoying it? That's the main question.
Did that Francis's sign ever get preserved, or has that been destroyed?
That probably destroyed when it accidentally fell down. No.
That's a shame.
I'm sick.
Yeah.
My grandmother was tailoress at Francis's
Yeah.
many years ago.
What was her name?
My grandma. She was back in what year did that?
What was her name?
What was her name?
It was Somerton. She's Somerton.
Ah.
Oh, thank you, Joy.
My father talks with great relish because he was a decorator with courts, and he always talks with great relish about decorating places like Bobby's and Francis's, you know, because of course on the top floor was where all the staff were housed, I think, wasn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were very stringent about their employees. I have a friend who, when she was a teenager, applied for a job as a trainee seamstress at Francis's, and they wouldn't look at her unless she had a minimum of 5 O-levels. And then she did, fortunately, she'd been at Leamington College, so she got the right qualifications. And she was accepted, but then she had to live in, and they lived in on the top floor.
No.
And they had a sort of matron of that boarding house part of it who looked after it, like being at a boarding school, and they were treated like schoolgirls.
Could I make a comment about the design of the photographs?
Yeah.
In tribute to Sarah waiting as a child and to Pat, Derrick had a marvellous eye of composition, arranging the masses, the colours, the light and dark. The snow scenes are as good as Impressionist paintings. He was very well aware of the nuances of the light and dark. I think they're exquisite. He was an artist as well as a photographer.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure Sarah and Pat know that, but we all know it now.
We can see that.
Well said, Liz.
That's a lovely tribute, Liz, and amply deserved. He really did have an artist's eye.
Yeah.
And for for setting things out as well. We could never do a display without Derrick's watchful eye. He only had to look and you knew you'd done something wrong or not quite right. He did just by the look on his face, and he was being very careful not to be critical, but you could tell. And I would say to him, "Go on then, Derrick, what have I done wrong this time?" And he would then give me the benefit of his wisdom.
Oh well said, everybody. Shall we go on to part three?
Barry, sorry.
Go on, Martin.
He did all this, of course, before the advent of digital photography.
Yeah, brilliant, isn't it?
And now we can alter composition, color, tone, all sorts of things by just playing around the computer. He had to make the decision there and then.
Yes.
I'm very pleased that somebody else takes a long time over their photographs and annoys their wife. It's very
well said, Martin. But Derrick took wonderful photographs, which is why I really wanted to do this tonight as a sort of a memorial to him. Anyway, we'll go on to the next bit now.
Does anyone know what camera he used?
Yes, a Pentax.
Pentax, yeah.
35mm film.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
There you are.
Thank you.
He did have a wonderful collection of cameras dating back to the very first camera he ever bought, that he once brought to the history group to show us. And he donated some of them to one of the history group members who has an extensive collection of cameras, including a spy camera, a James Bond type camera. But Derrick gave him a lot of his old cameras.
Anyway, we move on. Another picture of Francis's at night. How about that then?
I like Anthony's comment.
Yeah. What's he say?
He said it's a trait of Leamington men to annoy their wives when they're taking, and families when they're taking pictures.
I don't.
You're not trying hard enough, Barry. I can manage it up in County Durham.
I'm not married.
Guilty conscience, fools.
Anthony, I'm not married.
Nobody'd have you.
No, I keep my sanity.
Ooh, nasty.
No, it's all right. Derrick took wonderful photos. There we are, close up of the mural. And you can see then how the guy was doing it on this one. I think it's a wonderful photo. The young Queen. When you think this year it'd be 70 years.
Mm.
The last of the line. Quite clever how he's got the painting onto the two bits of the ladder, isn't it? You'd never get that up these days. That's how you're breaking planning law.
Presumably it got what?
They do keep putting up murals here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I think we've got a bit more relaxed planning officer, conservation officer now.
Presumably, Barry, this just got painted over, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have got a picture of it myself somewhere. I don't know where it is, but
yeah. Anyway, there we are. Shall we press on?
Barry, Archie Pitts asked you a question.
Yeah.
He asked you where it was taken.
Oh, it's Victoria Street.
Right. With you back to the Cricketers' Arms.
Yeah. It's the house on the corner of Victoria Street and Archery Road. The one that was in the picture earlier. Sorry, I haven't got chat on because the screen gets a bit cluttered. If anybody watches any questions, shout them out to me.
Yeah.
The last big store to close in Leamington. House of Fraser, as it was when this was taken, Rackham's.
Wow.
Derrick once told me he used to test puzzles for people in Rackham's, in Boots and Colburns, which was a predecessor of that, and he used to get Meccano in exchange or something like that. Was that true, Pat and Sarah?
Yes, I believe so. They made up things, and Derrick sort of worked out how they were made up and whether they worked and that with Meccano or wooden things with his granddad.
Yeah.
Because his granddad made a lot of wooden things. That's how we learnt off him.
Oh, excellent. The place I started work, Boots and Colburns,
Yeah.
when I was but a young boy, age 14.
And before that, it was a Bedford Stores.
Yeah, it was.
And in Bedford Street only.
Yeah. I only got the job because my dad worked in the bakery. Didn't do me any harm.
Well, you've eaten too many buns or something, haven't you?
Who said that? Your band.
What a lovely window display.
Isn't it? And now, of course, it's gone. I went in on the last day of the present store, and it was semi-empty. I asked if I could take some photographs, and they said no.
Really?
Yeah, we've had too many people taking pictures without permission, so we're not letting anybody take any now. Miserable. I won't swear. That's Rackham. That is 1982.
All right, lovely.
Doesn't it look better there, Margaret?
Yeah. Yes, let's just look at those nice railings.
Yeah.
Big improvement.
Yeah. Saxwell Place.
Is that gone now?
No, it's still there, built in 1808.
Oh.
It's part of Gordon Passage, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Derrick took this picture in 1981.
But Barry's comment and mine relate to some hideous fencing, utterly inappropriate, garish modern fencing that has been put up along Satchwell Place in contravention to the listed building requirements, but no one seems to be unduly bothered.
No,
except Barry and Michael and me.
Unfortunately, this is now owned by Orbit Housing Association.
Oh, well, enough said.
Association in Britain.
Enough said.
Follows closely by Stonewater, also known as Jepson. But it's a wonderful building, and it's still there, sat behind the original home of Benjamin Satchwell, adjoining the New Street Cemetery, which is another one we fought over, wasn't it, Margaret?
Yeah, absolutely. We did better on that one. We did.
Yeah, we
better.
did.
Yeah.
Regal.
The pictures.
The pictures, when the Regal was just one screen. 1981.
Those are the days.
Wonder what the film was.
Gone with the Wind.
I recall that when it was an old, simple square screen, the whole of the outside was decorated in sort of mosaic peacocks in glass.
Gosh.
It was an Art Deco
Art
theatre,
Deco.
wasn't it, originally?
Yeah.
Anyway.
They destroyed the screen to make a widescreen for something like CinemaScope or Tineo or whatever it was.
You wouldn't recognise a modern cinema now. The sound is so loud that you come out deaf. Anyway, that was 1981. At the same time, one of his friends, John Gaskin, took that.
Ollie.
Which is in much dated photos. That's a wonderful picture of the projection room. Something you don't normally get to see.
No.
How about that for a bit of interesting for people into the like how industry works, and this is how the industry of showing films works.
Not now, though, I bet.
No, it's all digital now.
When you think the chimney that came off the lamp, you know, to vent the heat away, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know when I worked for the county council, we used to have all these 16 and 8mm speed projectors. There were 1,000-watt lamps knocking around.
Really?
Wow.
They'd have been minuscule compared with these things, I should think.
Yeah.
There we are. So that's an unusual picture, but thank you, Derek.
Oh yeah, Will's Road.
Oh, wow.
Wills Road Bridge, taken 1981. The next picture.
Water.
Yeah, nice bit. Almost got the really smooth water for the reflection, didn't it? Notice no eagles on the pillars.
Yeah.
There's one. There's one.
The one, isn't there?
Yeah. I think you could just see something just there.
They are. Anyway.
So which angle would that be taken from?
That'd be taken from Mill Garden side.
Yeah.
Right.
Before they put the fencing.
Yeah. Before they run along, where they go fishing.
Yeah.
This is for the industrial archaeologists amongst us. Were you there, Peter Calls?
Where the beam engine was.
I am. Yeah.
What's that? A pumping station?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
No traffic lights, no island there, no traffic chaos.
No.
£121,000 painting a bridge. Sorry, I'm getting political. But there we are, that's the old pumping station there.
Beautiful.
Didn't let everybody get quite a few of the local historians get a tour when they have a look round before it went. I know Barry Hickman had a load of pictures of the inside of it. But I thought, oh, to put this one on, because when you go around now, you wouldn't even believe it was there, would you?
Well, no. Peter Chater had some photographs of it.
Yeah.
It's not still there, is it?
No,
no, it's gone.
Because that little shed at the side must have been a later edition.
Yeah. That's the tip now.
Oh no, yeah, but the original pumping house is the big
boiler house. That was the boiler house, and then it later had a Worthington Simpson duplex pumping engine in it when they took the beam engines out.
Yeah, there were beam engines to begin with.
Yes, beam part of it is in the foyer, or part of it for Blisshill at Ironbridge, the museum there. Some columns have been taken away from Leamington and restored there. And if I'm right, Ant, one of the engines is being taken away to Crossness. Is that right?
I can't remember where it is now, but we also had the little the Bellis and Morecambe generating set with Leicestershire Museums over at Snibston till that closed, and that was running steam every day till 2015.
So where are we standing here? The bottom of Princess Drive?
We're on.
Yes.
You're standing roughly at the entrance to the tip.
Oh, right, okay.
See the viaduct behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't work out which angle it was.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony and Peter. It's always good to have experts with us.
Yes.
Right.
Oh.
Last days of the Regent Cinema.
Oh.
I haven't got a date on this. I can't remember when they demolished it. Formerly the old Theatre Royal.
My father used to take my mother into the Theatre Royal when they were courting. He also used to take her to the pub in Whitnash. But he tried to teach her to ride a bicycle and failed.
I'm not surprised if they went to the pub first.
That was to get to the pub.
There we are. That's a nice recorded picture of Derrick. We're talking as we go along. Another picture of the gasworks.
Barry, on the previous picture, did you spot the chap with the on the left, stood there with his rock drill?
Yeah. Golly, yeah.
Oh,
At the top, yeah.
Yeah.
health and safety'd go mad now.
Peter,
They would.
got his
And
safety
yeah,
glasses
he's
on.
not.
He hasn't got a flat hat
not
on,
wearing
he's
a
got
hard
safe.
hat. No,
No.
he's not wearing a hard hat.
Not wearing a harness either.
He's got a flat cap. What more do you want?
He's got a flat cap on the wall. And a tweed, usually an old tweed jacket, wouldn't it, Peter? That was the safety clothes.
Quite likely. Yeah.
Well spotted. Good picture though, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.
There we are. Back to the gasworks now, of course, cleared, and the total lot took years to come up with a scheme so they could build on it and decontaminate the land. A Leamington landmark. There's Radcliffe Gardens in the background. The side of it.
Oh,
Where are red?
No, not with it.
Oh, Brunswick Street, the tall block of flats on the
I
right.
know.
As you head to the Royal Republic of Whitnall.
Barry, my maternal grandfather erected these gasometers. And his son told me that he was lodging at the time, because the family was elsewhere, in the worst slum he'd ever seen in Brook Street, which might match with history we've heard before.
Yes,
absolutely.
Well done, Liz.
I have a recollection of the gasworks working and it did not stink.
McGee's scrapyard was near there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was in Wise Street, the scrapyard.
Oh, yeah.
Terrace as well. Because the guy used to do the acting with Eric Shadbolt, good friends with Eric.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of the family there. They had the scrapyard at the bottom there.
It was Sims.
No, it weren't Sims.
Not Ransford.
Was it Ransford's?
No, Jimson scrapyard was
Fletcher's.
Fletcher's,
it was.
Fletcher's, that's it, yeah.
Fletcher and Sims.
Yeah.
You can
Go on, Brian.
You can sometimes get a clue as to the date by looking at the vehicles.
Yeah.
Another story for those interested in the gasworks. You listening?
Yeah.
Good. My uncle Jim was a yard foreman at the gasworks for many years, and apparently when they built the big chimney, which some of you may remember, there was a big chimney there. When they built that, the chap in charge of the gasworks offered a 10 shilling prize for anybody who would go up the chimney, walk round the top and come down again. And the only person to take up the offer was my Uncle Jim. But it was a big brick chimney.
Oh.
And if you were at the top end of the town, it was directly in line down the parade. You looked out.
Talk about a mixture of health and safety and sadism. That's it.
Well, 10 shillings was 10 shillings, wasn't it?
Right.
Oh, well, yeah. You're talking money there, Liz. Do you know?
Yeah, I know.
Lots of money.
Hi.
We'll go on to the next one.
Oh, wow.
We had to get a picture of Whitnash in, didn't we, for Pat and Sarah? St Margaret's Church, Whitnash.
Oh. Mum and Dad got married there, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, 55 years ago.
Gosh.
Oh. He took this one in 1980, I think.
Wow.
It's got there now because all these little trees have grown up that are planted on the green.
Yeah, they're grown up.
And the church has been extended. There's all railing, there's all barriers around the bottom end of the church there because the wall, that tree's got so big, this wall is falling gradually into the road. It's going to fall on a house over here soon.
Yeah.
But don't tell Alan Jennings.
Beautiful photo.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had to get something to Whitnash in.
Oh, the salad.
Park Street, where the entrance to the Royal Prize is now, the old Salvation Army Citadel.
Sally's, yeah.
Nice old cars there. Royal Prize is built all over it now.
Reg car.
My dad's mum and dad got married there.
What year's that photograph, Barry?
This is probably early 80s.
Yeah, I would have said late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Again, look at
the car reg is probably
Cars.
Yeah, look
reg
yeah.
down.
It's a T reg there.
T.
Roman in.
Somebody
Escort.
can tell us when we get to the interval. Anyway, that's the Salvation Army Citadel.
Oh,
This is Warwick Gate.
Warwick Gates, yeah.
Before they the farmer died and his daughter inherited and sold the land to Gallagher's for about £26.5 million.
I think it was 5 million, Barry, wasn't it?
26.
Was it that much?
That's how much Gallagher's paid for it.
All right, okay.
Quite classic little tractor there. Anybody tell me what type of tractor it is, Anthony or Peter?
A blue one.
Oh, you always get one. You always get one.
It's a Fordson.
It's a Fordson. Nice picture though, isn't it? And you got there now and all you'd be cropping is houses with loads more to come. Luckily South Leamington's now overdeveloped and the next local planet would be North Leamington.
Yeah.
And
Don't go
Milverton.
there, Barry. Don't go there.
And Old Milverton and Covington.
Oh, yeah.
We all remember Woodwards, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, and Freeman's next door.
Yeah. I always like Woodwards for the number 94 in Night Listeners End.
They put a preservation order on the twisting staircase inside.
It didn't.
But after a bit, they managed to get it taken down on health and safety.
Yeah. Great shame, because that was a very handsome staircase.
It was. We put a picture of that on Facebook and 300 people put their memories of going up and down the staircase on. It was wonderful.
You think they could have sold the staircase?
Yeah. There we are.
Oh, wow.
A G&G coach. We all know Derrick's love of buses because of his father working on Midland Res, etc. And that's a wonderful picture, isn't it? Showing the nice flowers in the pump rooms at the back and the bandstand before it was brilliantly renovated by Archie Pitts and company in their group getting the lottery funding to do it, and the council.
Was lovely.
And the passengers upstairs smiling at the camera.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't read on the side. Is that a Stratford Blue?
Yeah.
G&G coaches. Leamington Coach Royal. Probably an old Midland Red or an old blue bus. But it was
It is in the Stratford Blue colours or nearest Stratford Blue.
Yeah.
It's got G&G on the side, was Griffith and George, wasn't it, from Long Itchington? Must have taken that over.
And if you look in the background, you can see cars parked on Lower Parade. But I had to put a few buses in for our friend Derrick.
Oh, the L68.
Oh, the L68.
Yeah.
Covington.
New Covington.
Yeah.
Get the top ground the L68.
And this is one of Derrick's night. I love this picture. It was one of his collection of buses he gave me to use. And this is taken in Oxford. But it's just a nice bus. And I thought we ought to end with buses because that was Derrick's real great interest, as well as the narrow gauge railways of Wales, I think, is the other expression.
Yeah.
And of course, Sarah and Pat, I had to use this picture because this is the day I first met Derrick.
Oh yeah, it's at Leamington Station.
October 1987. Left to right, left-hand side, Barry Hickman. former information officer at Leamington Library, now happily retired in Kenilworth and spending all his days on the allotment. Next to him is my old friend John Ford, who died not long ago, railway fanatic. Next picture, next one across is John Cash, in the days when.
Oh, of course it is you, Johnny Cash.
Yeah, no, it's my friend John Cash, who Derrick had a sudden quirky sense of humour. And then there's this tall bloke with a moustache, which he's now grown again, and the next to him, all waiting for a train. And on the end is the wonderful Derrick. And that was the first time I ever met Derrick.
Who
And
took the
over
picture, Barry?
years, eh?
Who took the picture?
I can't remember who took the picture. Oh, it might have been Patrick Kingston.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first time I met Derrick. And then we kept bumping into each other on railway stations after that. And in the end, I counted him as being a very good friend and Pat and family. So I thought I'd end with that picture, because it's got a good memory. And we've stood there waiting for a thing called Flying Scotsman to come through. October 1987. And that's your lot.
That was great.
Really good. That?
Yes, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, it was great, Barry. Thank you.
Right, I'm going to stop recording.